Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I want to show you 10 cars that have not been released in 1/18 scale yet. These cars I think not only I would be interested in, but let's see today's list of 10. Sit back, follow me and enjoy the video. The BMW i3 is one of my favorite electric cars. I've driven this car many times and I think it's brilliant. In its day, it was a technical and mechanical innovation. But if you're looking for a model car, you have to get quality 1/64 and 1/43 dealer versions of the pre-facelift version, which unfortunately are no longer in production. So getting them is not an easy thing to do today. So I do not understand why, if there was already an i8 BMW in this scale, why the little brother was not released. Hopefully someone will release it in the future. It would not be a problem if it is not open. In its day, the Unos Cosmo was a brilliant car with lots of technological innovations, but unfortunately for Mazda it was a huge failure because it came out at the wrong time. I think this model would be a sought-after model in 1/18 scale. The thing is that it exists in a smaller scale, but the real thing would be in the larger scale. I have a feeling that Ignition will probably sell it one day, but I would be happy if some other manufacturer would release it, not because I don't like Ignition models, I just think the current pricing is a bit unrealistic. So if an automobile would make it, I would be happy. The European mass sedan of the 90s was the first generation Vectra, but few people know that this car was available with a number of high-performance options, and at the top of the range was the turbo known from the Calibra. This first generation of the Opel Vectra is also a non-existent model. In fact, it is possible to buy this models up to 1/24 scale in a simple weekday version, and if you are interested in the more powerful models, then 1/43 scale is the top. For me, this model would be important because of my childhood experiences, but I'm sure many Opel and Vauxhall fans would be happy to see it in this scale. The Mitsubishi Legnum and Galant VR4 are two of my favorite mid-size sedans and station wagons. Who wouldn't want one of these models? For all the true petrol heads who grew up on Gran Turismo, this car is a must-have in real life, but for many of us, it's a huge desire in model form. So far, the only options are in smaller scale. I have a feeling that if it comes out in 1/18 scale, it will probably also be Ignition first, but Automobile will do it sooner or later because they have a pretty strong Japanese line and they wouldn't miss it in the future. But I would be very happy if LCD or Motorhelix would release it because I love the models they're releasing now. One of my favorite Italian premium sedans is the Lancia Kappa. I think it is still one of the most beautiful mid-size cars ever made. It's had coupe and estate versions, but of all of them, I like this one the best. I used to sit in one of these 5-cylinder turbo versions, and this car has been a great love for me ever since. The manufacturer's specializing in Italian models today are quite active, and here I am thinking of Lauda Racing and Mitica. I think this model will definitely appear in the next 2 to 3 years. I personally would be very happy about it. This generation of Honda Legend is, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful Honda ever made. This clean styling is very close to me. This car is a bit like the Japanese BMW E38. The coupe version is also a beautiful piece in my opinion, so I personally would be very happy if both versions existed in 1/18 scale. Unfortunately, this model is not a very common model in smaller scales either. It was produced in 1/43 scale. Unfortunately, this car is a very hard to find Honda model. The second generation Swift or Cultus is a car that is very close to me. The top version was the GTI, and I would love to see this car in this scale. Firstly, because this second generation Cultus is a very nice little hothatch, and secondly, because I saw quite a lot of it on the road as a kid and I liked it a lot even then. Currently, BM Creation has made it in 1/64 scale alone, and it has become a very successful model in that scale. so I'm sure it could be a huge success in a larger scale. I would definitely buy one, but I think it would be of interest to many collectors besides me. Ever since I saw Jackie Chan's Thunderbolt, the Mitsubishi FTO has been a huge attraction for me. On the one hand, because we in Europe didn't know what it was until later when we saw it in Gran Turismo. Back then, the internet wasn't so widespread and you couldn't get instant information about everything, so this video game added a lot to our knowledge of such a rarity. Obviously, this model exists in smaller scale gold, but I would be very happy with a 1/18 scale version because I think it's a beautiful little Mitsubishi that many of us besides me would love to have. The Pulsar GT-IR was named the Baby Godzilla after the Skyline R32 GT-R because of its incredible performance. Somehow, by some miracle, this car made its way to Europe and could be bought new as sunny and left-hand drive. It has been available in smaller scale models for a very long time, but is as yet a non-existent model in the 1/18 market. I'm very hopeful that Automobile will release it one day, and my hopes are not so unfounded as the Mazda 323 GTR has already been released. I've always loved 4 or 5 doors sporty models. I feel these cars are close to me, and for me the DB8 Integra Type R is absolutely one of those cars. Few people even know it exists, and as not too many of these Integras have been made, it's obviously a harder thing to buy in model form. At the moment, the only manufacturer I can find that has done it is Mark 43, which specializes in 143 JDM models. I hope they will be available in 1/18 scale in the future, as the DC2 version has been made by quite a few. We have reached the end of the video. Thank you for your kind attention. If you like, please let us know in the comments section what model you are waiting for to be released in 1/18 scale that doesn't exist yet. Thank you for watching. If you like my video, please like it. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you don't want to miss out on similar content, please hit the bell icon. See you in the next video.